Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you actually posted something on social media? I do not mean a repost. I do not mean a story that disappears in 24 hours. I mean a permanent photo of your face, your life, or your thoughts. Now, answer this. When was the last time you almost posted? You took the photo. You edited the lighting. You wrote the caption. You stared at the screen for 30 seconds. And then, you deleted the entire draft and locked your phone. That specific hesitation tells us everything. If you're watching this, you probably fall into a very specific category of people. You are not antisocial. You are not technologically illiterate. In fact, you probably spend hours every day scrolling, watching, and observing others. You know exactly what is trending. You see your friends posting their holidays, their promotions, and their latte art. But you remain a ghost? On the surface, people might think you are just private, or maybe they think you are boring and have nothing to show. But deep down, you know that is not true. The reason you do not post is not because you have nothing to say. It is because you have too much to lose. You are trapped in a psychological paradox known as the Lurker's paralysis. You feel a strange mixture of superiority and anxiety. Part of you looks at the people posting constantly and thinks, why do they need so much attention? But another part of you looks at their engagement and thinks, am I becoming invisible? You are stuck in the audience while everyone else is on stage. But here is the truth that might surprise you. This behavior is not a flaw. It is a defense mechanism. And scientifically speaking, it might mean your brain is functioning at a higher level of awareness than the people who post 5 times a day. You are not failing at social media. You might be the only one who actually understands the game. To understand why you act this way, we first need to look at the numbers. Internet culture has a famous rule called the 1% rule. It states that on the internet, 90% of people just consume content. 9% of people edit or curate content. And only 1% of people actually create new content. So, statistically, you are not alone. You are the silent majority. You are the lurker. But lurker is an ugly word. It implies you are hiding in the shadows, watching people without their permission. Psychologically, however, something much more complex is happening inside your brain. Let's talk about the first mechanism that keeps you silent. It is a cognitive bias called the spotlight effect. The spotlight effect is the tendency to overestimate how much other people notice about us. When you take a photo to post, your brain does not just see a picture. It sees a permanent record. You look at that photo and you simulate 1,000 different future scenarios. What if my ex sees this? What if my boss thinks this is unprofessional? What if nobody likes it within the first hour? What if I look like I am trying too hard? For the average poster, hitting share is a micro decision. It takes 2 seconds. But for you, hitting share triggers a high-level threat response in your amygdala. Your brain treats that post button like the launch code for a nuclear missile. You are not just sharing a picture of your coffee. You are submitting yourself to be judged by a jury of 500 people you have not spoken to in 10 years. This leads us to the second mechanism. Psychologists distinguish between 2 types of self-awareness. First, there is private self-consciousness. This is when you are aware of your own feelings, your thoughts, and your internal state. Second, there is public self-consciousness. This is when you are hyper-aware of how you appear to others. People who don't post often score extremely high on public self-consciousness. You are constantly viewing yourself from a third-person perspective. You are not just living your life. You are directing the movie of your life. And you are a very harsh critic. You look at your own draft, and you critique the lighting. You critique the caption. You critique the subtext. You think, who cares about my lunch? This is narcissism. This is where the validation machine breaks down for you. For many people, social media is a slot machine. They pull the lever, post the photo, and they get a dopamine hit from the likes. But for you, the machine is rigged. You have realized, perhaps subconsciously, that the cost of posting is higher than the reward. The reward is a momentary ego boost from a few red heart icons. The cost is anxiety. The cost is checking your phone every 5 minutes. The cost is wondering why that one specific person didn't view your story. Your brain has run the math. It has calculated the return on investment, and the result is negative. So, You choose the path of least resistance. You delete the draft. You put the phone down. You choose safety over validation. But here is the problem. While this protects you from anxiety, it also isolates you. You watch your friends interacting in the comments section. You see relationships forming and inside jokes being made, and you are on the outside looking in. You start to feel like a spectator in your own generation. You worry that by not playing the game, you are slowly erasing yourself from existence. This is the pain of the non-poster. You want to be seen, but you are terrified of being watched. But now, I want you to change your perspective completely. What if everything I just said about fear and anxiety is only half the story? What if your silence is not a weakness, but a superpower? There is a concept in psychology called self-determination theory. It says that for a human to be happy, they need 3 things: competence, relatedness, and autonomy. Social media attacks your autonomy. It demands that you perform. It demands that you follow trends. It demands that you update your status to prove you are alive. By refusing to post, you are reclaiming your autonomy. You are not missing out. You are opting out. Think about the last concert you went to, or a beautiful sunset you saw. Everyone around you instantly pulled out their phones. They viewed the moment through a 5-inch screen. They were busy filtering, cropping, and captioning. They were not experiencing the moment. They were processing the moment for an audience. But you just watched. You felt the wind. You heard the music. You kept the memory for yourself. You understand a deep truth that the posters have forgotten. The moment you try to capture something, you change it. When you turn your life into content, you stop being the main character and you start being the cameraman. People who don't post are preserving the sanctity of their reality. You have realized that your private life has value simply because it is yours. It does not need external validation to be real. A meal is delicious, even if nobody sees it. A relationship is loving, even if it isn't Facebook official. A workout counts, even if you don't post a sweaty selfie. This is not insecurity. This is high-level emotional intelligence. You are prioritizing being over appearing. In a world that screams, "Look at me," there is a quiet confidence in saying, "I don't need you to look at me to know I exist." You are like the billionaire who wears a plain t-shirt. You don't need to flash your wealth because you know what you have in the bank. Your bank is your mental peace. Your bank is your privacy. While others are stressed about their engagement rates, you are free. You are the spectator in the VIP box, enjoying the show, eating your popcorn, completely unbothered by the chaos on stage. You are not a lurker. You are a sovereign. You rule your own world. And you have chosen to close the gates. So, what should you do with this information? Should you force yourself to start posting just to prove you are normal? Absolutely not. The goal is not to become an influencer. The goal is to ensure that your silence is a choice, not a prison. If you are happy in the VIP box, stay there. Enjoy the show. But be careful. Do not let your privacy become isolation. Social media promised us connection, but it gave us performance. You have rejected the performance. That is good. But make sure you keep the connection. Here is a small challenge for you this week. A micro step. Take a photo of something simple. A sunset. A coffee. A funny sign. Do not post it on your story. Do not put it on your feed. Instead, send it directly to one friend. Just one person. No filters. No clever captions. Just a message that says, "Thinking of you." This is how you hack the system. You get the connection without the anxiety. You get the relatedness without the performance. You are building a network of depth, not width. 10 real conversations in the DMs are worth more than 1,000 likes on a public post. So, the next time you hesitate to post, do not beat yourself up. Put the phone down. Look up at the world around you. Smile. You are the one who is actually living. And remember, you are not broken because you don't want to perform. You are not a product to be consumed. You are a person to be known. You are a masterpiece in progress. And masterpieces don't need to be advertised.